Hey Acers, welcome to the regular irregular ACE report. I'm your host, Mason Emerson, and I am here to support you as you set up your own ACE Roleplaying Games clubs. I started ACE, which ACE stands for Achieve, Create, and Entertain. And I started ACE because when I was a teenager, I probably would have committed suicide if I didn't have the fun and friendship that came through my role playing game experiences. So, for those of you who are new and those of you who are longtime Acers, welcome in. And the purpose of ACE is to, like I said, help you set up your own role playing game clubs. I will set up time with you. You'll email me at the email link below. I'll set up time with you to tell you how to structure the organizational part of the club, which is getting the club put together, getting a sponsor, making sure you have a safe place to play, and then keeping the table safe once you do. But the other side of it is I also will teach you, how to game master. That's probably one of the best things I hope I could offer you. I wish I could be there with you to sit down and walk you through, but as I can't, we can arrange to do things online. Maybe we can record some. Whatever it is we need to do to make it so you can sit down at a table with a bunch of friends, give them scenarios, and walk them through creating a great story together. Because the side effect is that we all get to use our imaginations. We get to learn problem solving. We get to learn problem creation when you're a game master. You get to learn all the ins and outs, and it's coming from not just me, but from other great game masters and other wise people in my life who helped inspire me and helped me to make it to adulthood and to the point where I have teenagers of my own now. So ACE Role Playing Games is here to help you. And if you just email me at the link below, I'm working on setting up a website that will be a knowledge base and a place where you guys can reach out and all that kind of stuff. And I want it to set up a forum page there where you guys can get on and be nice and communicate with each other and share gaming experiences and things like that. As part of the start, I am going to try and make sure that we refer people to different places so you can get gaming news. Like the fact that even though somebody had already written kind of a Stranger Things supplement or setting for Savage Worlds, which they're not my sponsor. So I'm writing down my notes as to what I need to include in the bottom there: the email and the Savage Worlds link. But anyway, the fine folks at Pinnacle Entertainment, who are not my sponsors, but they're my friends. They just finished up a Kickstarter just a little bit ago for Pine Box Middle School. Now, there is the Monster Hunters Club, which I don't think they did Pine Box Middle School to take away from Monster Hunters Club, because most of us who even invested in Pine Box Middle School also had Monster Hunters Club. And one of the things that they did is they also kickstarted their horror companion. And now I don't know when they're going to be coming back out with their special path game that they had a little bit ago. It was like a kung fu wushu kind of, or wuxia, I guess that's how you say it. But anyway, they they just finished their Kickstarter for that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Pine Box Middle School, of course, being set in Pine Box, Texas, which is the fictional town setting in the Big Thicket where East Texas University is located. And they're located in the fictional Golden County. And there are other adventures that happen in and around Golden County. Now, Chickens in the Mist, I usually use it as a throwaway, but somebody gets far enough into the game, and I might actually take the college students out to face off against the chickens. But I'm thinking by that point most of them will have already been through the adventure, so maybe I won't. But some of the other Pine Box adventures include the Rise of the Blackguard, and there's some really genuinely creepy games. And that's what Pinnacle really has done this time around. I mean, last time around, everybody was like, "Oh, Pinnacle does pulp best. Savage Worlds does pulp best. Savage Worlds does pulp best." And yes, Savage Worlds does do pulp very well, but it also does horror, which is kind of more the lean of most Pinnacle settings. It also does science fiction. It does fantasy. It does all sorts of things. And actually, I'm going to put that in the news section here as well. My friends at Doghouse Rules, they recently put out their Dust Bunnies Life Under the Couch Kickstarter. And that one is cool because it's a game for the whole family, and you play a dust bunny, and you're Trixie. And because you're Trixie, you can hide from the vacuum and from the cat and from the Robo Roomba thingy, and you heal by getting bits of fluff from under the couch and you poke them back in. And it's just going to be fun and silly, and the first really silly setting written for Savage Worlds. And on that note, I'm writing to myself. One is a blank with horror setting. In this case, it's Neverland with horror. Even though Neverland technically already had horror elements in it. And if you've heard the theory about what Peter Pan actually is, and what Captain Hook is, and where children never grow up, Neverland's plenty full of horror. But anyway, I'm still writing a Neverland with horror setting called Dark Days of Neverland. And I'm writing a silly setting. I'm writing what was originally just a spin-off of It's Toon Time. I'm writing that up into a setting called Harvey's Heroes. And part of that is because my amazing daughter drew some amazing cartoons. And I've mentioned it before, but yeah, wow, those are awesome. So that's it for the news. Now for this week's gaming experience, and for the gaming experiences, I want to highlight your experiences. So you can start emailing them to me right now, and then I'm working on setting up an official or a way for you guys to get on the official ACE Discord server. Let me see if I can actually get a link to that. I'll see if I can get a link to the official ACE Discord server down here below. And then I will have a channel there for you to share your gaming experiences. Right now, as far as I know, there's only one ACE Club because nobody's reported the creation of a new one. And so for the gaming experience moment, I will cite what I did this last Thursday. Now, as many of you know, I have a game group that meets every other Thursday online. And so far, we've been able to avoid Thanksgiving. So that's good. My birthday's the day before Thanksgiving this year, so that'll be fun. Anyway, but there is a adventure that was included in the Savage Worlds Deluxe setting, or not setting, but core rulebook, and that was called The Moscow Connection. And it's a grown-up game in the sense that can deal with some pretty hard criminal ideas, and you are criminals, you're bad guys going up against worse guys, um, that kind of thing. It can get pretty nasty, but I'd known of it, and I'd kind of read lightly through it before. And 2 Thursdays ago, or no, it would have been 4 Thursdays ago. Um, when on the 27th of October, is that the 4 Thursday? Yeah, that was 4 Thursdays ago. Anyway, or 4 Thursdays ago. It doesn't matter. But anyway, on the 27th of October, I ran Chickens in the Mist that morning for Halloween. And I was supposed to just go and play in the Deadlands game at Mythos Games, my friendly local game store. And I'll put their link in here too, because Mythos is awesome and you can order things online and get things from them. They're good. And that is where we meet as the local South Jordan Ace Club. Anyway, so I was there at Mythos, and my friend Pete, who was supposed to run that night, didn't feel like running. So, and it was only him and his son there. But what I did is I took my brand new superhero companion, and I took 2 street level superheroes, 2 level 2 superheroes, and I ran Moscow Connection with it. The hardest part was getting these superheroes convinced to take a job for the Russian mob. But they did. They took the job, and they ended up going up head to head with crazy Middle Eastern terrorists, red hand terrorists. And so there's so I did this adventure, and instead of needing a 4 or 5 person squad of armed Russian mafiosos, they were good guys doing a good thing, because if the Russians got a hold of the case, they could possibly save. In the version on the 27th was New York City, but I did it as Helpy when I did it this last Thursday. And it was interesting again. And this is where role-playing games are very interesting. They give you a chance to see the same scenario solved in different ways. And the game master side of things, it was kind of the same. But on the playing side, the story side, because the story doesn't happen until the players play it. That's one of the key things about a role-playing game, is that the story doesn't happen until the players play it. And so this time, I had one player already playing the substitute player, because the first time I hosed down one of the characters. He crit failed. I gave the machine gunner the drop. He was up on the roof, and he 3-round burst, and it just mowed him down. Because incidentally, as a side note, that is the key to making these work for other systems. Is if you would give your players the drop, give your villains a chance to have the drop too. And so yeah, he fired 3-round burst, or full rate of fire 3, which would actually been a 10-round burst, but still with an AK-47, and he mowed down and totally incapacitated the undead character. And that was pretty freaky. So on the second one, this recent one the other night, he actually my players, they went in and they used their powers, and they kind of got rid of some terrorists, and they rescued a guy who was kind of a unwilling participant, and it was really cool. It was fun. And so that's kind of one of my main GM point for tonight or for today, or whatever it is, wherever you're at, is be willing to experiment and take scenarios that are written for other things and put different characters in it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, like, I don't think I could have done necessarily a Lankmar story as close as I could run this one. Okay, adapting settings. So that's my gaming experience and leads into the GM tip for the week. Now, the other GM tip for the week is I want to invite you to try making your villain a little bit smarter. Not on his stats, but on how he functions. Or she. A villain could be a he or a she. Because the thing is that let's talk a moment about a villain. What is a villain? I would say actually there are two kinds of villains. There's your antagonist villain, and there are your intentional villains. And sometimes one can become the other. Sometimes a friend can become a villain. For example, Darth Vader. Darth Vader is definitely an antagonist. He is there to prevent Luke and his friends from doing what they want to do. But if we look at just the straight up first Star Wars film, he is still even more of an antagonist than an intentional villain when compared to Grand Moff Tarkin. Grand Moff Tarkin, a long time ago, decided to be a ruler of evil, and he decided that he is going to do the things that the Empire wants done. And in the end, Darth Vader is redeemable. When you look at the original trilogy, Darth Vader is ultimately redeemable and becomes Anakin once again. Whereas the Emperor is a villain of purpose. He is after to destroy not only the whole Rebel Alliance, but to corrupt Luke and to destroy his friends. And when you're doing your villains in your role-playing games, you're not necessarily going to be dealing with the head of a political movement or something like that. But what you could be dealing with, I mean, you could be. That's the thing. Imagine if, like one of the villains I liked the most in like movies I've seen, he was a colonel in the army, and he had a senator backing him, a senator who also made a choice to do the wrong things for the wrong reasons. So he had a senator backing him. He had also all of these things where initially the hero couldn't just outright kill him. And untouchable villains make for some of the best villains. When the guy who engineered the slaughter of your town, but he did it through 3 or 4 different levels, is the king's advisor. And you've got him there in your hands, but if you kill him, you'll bring down the wrath of the whole kingdom upon him. So you have to find other ways around that to destroy that villain. And that's part of the reason why I recommend John Wick's book Play Dirty, but I recommend more his reading of it with his annotations on his web channel, on his YouTube channel here. And I think I'll try and find the link to that one as well. Because John Wick's got some great tips. But ultimately, that brings me to a point where I should probably get ready to wrap up. Next Sunday, I'm hoping I can still play for 3 hours in my Big Apple Sewer Samurai game, and then go down at 4 o'clock to do First Advent with my wife, some of my good friends down in Lehigh. So, I kind of think I've seem to have lost a little bit of my energy and my momentum, and I apologize. But I thank you for sticking with me this long. I thank all my friends and all friends of ACE out there. And that's another thing, is that I want to, if you are a friend of ACE, and I don't know that I'm going to set it up on Patreon, but I'm going to find a crowdfunding place so that way people can donate money, and that money will go towards me making better videos, A, and B, it'll go towards me getting it to a point where I can have club copies of the books, for at least the core rulebook for Savage Worlds, because right now we're operating pretty well. And that's the other thing, is going around the table, people have been picking up their own copies of Savage Worlds because it's one of the most economical role-playing games that you can get out there. But at the same time, if people want to bring to another table and run Dungeons and Dragons, they're welcome to do so. If they want to run Cyberpunk, they're welcome to do so. If they want to run Shadowrun, they're welcome to do so. If they want to run a storyteller system, they're welcome to do so. We welcome all game systems here. But we just teach Savage Worlds because it's the easiest one to learn as quick as possible, and I like the fact that you get to play a character that's already cool. So anyway, that's what I'll end with today, and a big thank you to everybody who keeps coming back. And yeah, there's the whole like and subscribe thing, but you already know that. I'm not going to include that in every video. And I think you guys are awesome. You guys are going to build some amazing stuff. You're going to make some amazing things happen. I love you. And you are special and important just for being the unique person you are. And you don't need to be anything else other than here at the table, gaming for good. Until next time, this is Mason Emerson signing off.